Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earle Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earle Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earle Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
Plus, Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. Also by Dive Shop and Dive Ventures nationwide. Jim Karras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel, with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earle Farrell.
Thank you very much, and welcome in on this fine day here in the Mid-South. And our guest today is also one of our sponsors, somebody I've known for a number of years, is because I've always been so fascinated with what he does. Scott Fueling with Phoenix, which is an unprecedented home entertainment company, also automations for homes. They can wire your entire house. You can run it from someplace else, but you still got to pay for it.
Yeah, that you do.
Welcome to the show, Scott.
Well, thank you, Earl.
We wanted to get you on, as you do so much. You travel around the country working on projects. That's how your reputation has spread. You guys do such incredible work. And I found that really wealthy people hang out together, and they always want to know, who did that?
Yeah.
So you've been out of town, but you're back now. And just to get back into your background a little bit, because what you do is something we all deal with every day, and that's modern electronics with flat-screen TVs, wireless, and every new invention makes it more difficult to watch television. I mean, you'd think
Right.
it'd be easier now than ever before, but it's better than ever before, but it ain't easy. And that's kind of where you guys come in.
Yeah, and we generally work on huge projects where we're dealing with 25,000 square foot houses. But it's the same technology, just expanded upon. Most of the media you're getting in your home now is streamed. So if you're DirecTV Stream or Xfinity Stream or Netflix, you're bringing it in through the internet, not through the traditional cable or telephone lines.
I know that we've here at Lansky's, we've had to, make some adjustments and all. Is that one of the first things you do? Is you go and do a site survey on a home? You're going to do a entertainment room, entertainment center, and check out Wi-Fi, because everything's really predicated on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we pretty much have to take control of the network and upgrade it and update it to where it'll support modern day needs and streaming. A lot of people think that their cable modem with the Wi-Fi is all they need, and not really, especially when you get into larger homes.
And I think a lot of people think just because they buy the equipment, the television or whatever equipment, the sound system and all, because they could buy it, it's all going to work and work together.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy, but it's not. There are a lot of hiccups you run into when you're setting it up. If you just have a small house or a small apartment and you're just setting up one TV, it's not so bad. But when you start talking 20, 30, 40 TVs in a house, each wanting their own independent content, that gets a little hairy.
Did you start off in this field, or did you start off in another kind of business and gravitate toward this?
I started off in commercial contracting, doing auditoriums and concert halls. And then I did a little bit of touring work after that. And then I decided that I really didn't like life on the road. So I kind of moved forward with training and education into where I'm at now. And when I started in the home business, there really wasn't anybody doing it. There wasn't a lot of suppliers, there wasn't a lot of products out there, so we were building a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff one-off.
And there were some really bad people doing it and telling you they could do it. I remember when I got my first, it was a 50-inch plasma that I think I paid something like $8,000-$9,000 for.
Not right.
And the guy comes to my house and he said, "Where do you want?" I said, "On that wall in my living room." And she said, "Okay." He takes his drill, drills in the wall, and a stream of water comes shooting back across the room, hitting the wall behind me. I went, "We got to stop that, boys." And they said, "Do you have a turnoff valve?" I said, "What's a turnoff valve?" Apparently they had done this before, but we got it turned off. And fortunately, it was an oil painting that it hit and not a watercolor. But that's when I first learned that not everybody that says they can do installations can do installations.
Yeah, there's a lot of details involved you have to watch out for.
Well, it is. The good thing about you is they can go to your website or your Facebook and look at the jobs you've worked on, and you even have testimonials from people that what they're saying about you. And you said, you told me before that most of your jobs come through referrals.
Yeah, we really don't do any advertising or promotion. It's all just word of mouth referrals. And we've been doing that. We gave up on the advertising about 10 years ago.
It really is hard. I mean, what we do with you in the show, and I'm so glad you've sponsored the show, because it really is about good things about Memphis, and you're very involved in the community and want Memphis to be better, and that was... And that we're a real cutting edge kind of a show. I mean, we're doing stuff that nobody else is doing in the podcast business.
Right.
But it really is about an image thing too. It's like, who are we? And you don't do any. If somebody came to you and said, "We just want to do kind of a half-ass job," you go, "Well, we don't do half-ass."
No, we kind of have a threshold. I mean, it's not really a dollar threshold. It's just allowing us to do the project correctly, using the right materials, and knowing it's going to last and be reliable.
Let's look at some of your projects. We got some video of like this. Most people know what a rack is.
Yeah.
If you've got a closet in your home and you had them put a big screen in and a sound system, you've got an amplifier in there. You got a VCR or
You dated
disc player.
yourself.
Yeah. Well, that happens daily. But this looks like something out of Space Odyssey or something.
Yeah, that's actually behind the main equipment racks in one of our rooms. That's all security, thermostats. We have a cellular repeating system in that house, so like you would have in a commercial building, because it was all concrete and steel, so there was a hard time receiving signals in there. So we did all that on the front end.
And I can imagine, in this hotel, this is a multi-story building, and you can't use Starlink here because you can't up there, but you got to still run a wire down to wherever you are, unless you have access. And then plus in cities, like in high-rises, do you do a lot of projects in high-rises?
Not really. We kind of are single-family dwellings for the most part. We do condos occasionally for customers, but it typically is like a vacation residence or a vacation home that they use.
We've got some examples of some of the projects you've worked on in the past, and I think I like this one because it is a smaller room. I mean, we'll show some other ones, but people that want just a really good system for you and your family, not having 18 people over.
Yeah, that's an intimate media room that we designed for the client. He wanted to be able to hang out with his kids and his family and enjoy movies and have the full effect of the surround sound, the dynamic bass and everything. But we didn't put a projection system in. We just went with a smaller display for the area that fit it well. And he's really enjoying it still.
Well, I think most people do, which is sadly, I mean, everything has a reaction, and the movie theater business is way off, except for movies like that are coming out like Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. That's a big hit, but until it came out, there was nothing much to go to the theater for. And people like watching those shows at home, and with the sound systems and the video, it's every bit as impressive as a theater.
It can be, for sure.
When people first start out consulting with you, and I guess that's the first thing you do, is decide what is it you're looking for.
Right. We kind of go in and figure out their needs, their wants, their desires, what problems they're trying to solve, what fits their lifestyle. You know, a lot of times people will do a home theater and put it up on the second floor in a far corner of the house, but believe it or not, it won't get used very much because it's out of the way.
Isn't that interesting? Sort of like the kitchen is the focal point of every house?
Yeah, the kitchen and family room. We've done a lot of really nice family room systems right off kitchens, where it's full surround experience, very large TV. Now you can get flat panel televisions over 100 inches easily. And we can set up something really nice in there so they can enjoy it.
We're looking at one of your projects right there. This is not a giant room. It's got a couch and a sofa, it looks like, in there, which is what most people have. Mm-hmm. That's what my TV room looks like. And it's I've got clip speakers, and I've got ceilings, speakers mounted at the ceiling behind, and then on the floor, subwoofer. And then my son-in-law, he bought a much less expensive system with a bar on below the television and then surround sound subwoofer. His sounds better than mine. Of course, mine is probably 15 years old. Everything is getting better and smaller.
Yeah, it is. And the surround processing and the codecs for it, they've gotten a lot more refined. With Atmos, you can do Atmos on a small budget now, like you would have in the movie theater. And it's kind of crazy how that's happened.
Who drives most of your projects? Is it the husband or is it the wife?
I've got to say it's probably both of them, because we want to make sure they're equally committed to it so we understand. And they'll have different needs and different wants out of the system, so we want to make sure we address both of them since it's their house.
Well, one thing I hear from my wife all the time is, just show me how to make it work.
Yeah, right after I got married, I had a small system in my apartment. And Dennis, my wife, she called me one day. I was in a meeting, and she was fit to be tied. She said, I've got 4 remotes sitting here. All I want to do is watch TV. How do I do that?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that making these systems a lot easier to operate was very important.
Absolutely, because then you have your kids come over and stay, or you have a guest that comes over and they get on there and start doing their thing, and then you go, how do I turn my television back on? Because you've gone someplace else and I can't get it back. Is that one of the things you guys provide? Once you put in a system, they can call you Thanksgiving Day and go, I'm down.
Yeah, our clients can get a hold of us 24/7 if they need to for anything. And if we can't solve it over the phone, we will roll. A lot of the out-of-town projects we do, though, we actually have off-site monitoring here in Memphis. So we're actually looking at the system, making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. And
so you can actually look at all the digital aspects to it, and along with the automation of the home and anything you have in there, you can take a look at.
Yeah, we can look at the streams that they're viewing if we need to determine if there's a problem. Yeah, we can monitor the internet. And then we also have it set up with some alerts, so if something does happen, it'll let us know. You know, they're paying a premium for that service, but when you've got those types of homes, it's not really that expensive.
Well, you were talking about one before we got started today that's 25,000 square feet. And how many televisions?
40.
40. Did they get a price break when you buy that many TVs?
No, not really. But it is set up to do some different things. Like there's one room has 6 TVs in it. So, I mean, it's kind of set up as a sports pub.
I was going to say, is it like a sports enthusiast, because they wouldn't be watching anything that's on sports at the same time?
Yes, and we've got it set up to where they can punch one button and it'll go to all the sports channels they like. They punch another button, it'll go to all the news channels they follow. They hit another one, it'll go to the entertainment channels. So the room can be set up as a theme based on what they're going to do with it.
And you set these up and have been doing it for years, so I'm sure you've had people that you've had as a client for many years. All of a sudden they say, we want to upgrade. And then you come in and say, well, this is what an upgrade is going to cost. You go, what?
Well, actually, for the most part, our customers kind of realize the expenses involved in it. I've got some customers that I've had for 35 years that I'm still servicing. And as they get, it's funny being with them when they're younger and their family's younger. Their needs were different, and as they age and change, things change a lot as how we approach it. So,
is it because what I like about my sound system is you don't have to crank it up very loud to hear all the elements.
Exactly.
So, because I never have really liked loud things, and what I found with that was we've never even taken it up a quarter of the way that you can bring it up. And I think that's something with older people. At least older people can still hear.
Well, the other thing is, it's not about loud. It's about definition. It's about the encompassing experience you're having. You know, is the movie drawing you in? Mm-hmm. You're in the ball game. Can you hear the people behind you cheering? I mean, that's what makes it special, and that's what makes it an event in your house.
Where's it all going right now? We were just talking to the IT guy here at the Peabody, and he's done a lot of stuff in 4K video. But most people can't even view 4K. I mean, if they can, I mean, most of the TVs you're buying now will be able to or can now. There's just not that much programming out there to be able to view.
No, it's kind of like when Full HD came out. It was a transition to where you had a few things that you could watch, like HDNet helped that a lot.
Yeah.
But then it gradually took over. 4K is taking a little bit longer to grab hold. We're actually dealing with some of the theaters we're doing now, though, with 8K.
Wow. What does that look like?
It looks like you can walk into it. We're doing it with 8K digital cinema projectors and then video processors. So it's really interesting. But when you've got a screen that's 220, 230 inches, you got to have some high-resolution video.
Yeah.
And especially for the clients we deal with, they're kind of demanding.
Well, even us with the cameras we're got here, these are HD, and you know, I noticed that when I was at Fox 13, HD first started coming in. Actually, it started when I was at Channel 5. They were making us wear this orange makeup, which I refused to wear. I said, I look horrible at orange. And I just used Pancake just to knock the shine off a little bit. But I think most people look better a little further away from the camera than so many people, especially the news media, loves to get right up in your face. And nobody looks good on HD right up in the face.
No, they really don't. It was funny. What really drove the HD industry, which is kind of one of the little less talked about secrets, was the adult cinema industry drove HD. And then there's the argument that there's some things you shouldn't see in HD.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you probably shouldn't see in HD. What is amazing, the first time I ever saw HD was in the control room at WKNO, Channel 10. Mm-hmm. And they had a monitor in there that this guy said, this engineer came over and said, you want to see what HD looks like? I said, yeah. Went over and looked at it, and I went, wow. As if they were flying over in Italy someplace and over these buildings and all. And the really impressive thing is when they would show at a sports venue, you could actually see individuals in the stands.
Yeah.
That was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, pick out all the distinctive features.
Yeah. And it really is, you look back at what television looked like even when color first came in, because I can remember that distinctly, how much better that was than black and white. But HD changed everything.
It did. It really did. Content caught up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
4K content is awesome, but most people are still riding with their TVs that they spent all that money on as early adopters on HD. I mean, you mentioned your first flat panel television being about $9,000.
Yeah.
That was pretty common back then.
Yeah, it was a plasma too.
Yeah.
But the shades of colors were phenomenal. I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
But it will get better. Digital, and in fact, give me your thoughts on this, because people that are in this business, in the video business, and in the audio business, there's certain things about digital that's great. And I see so many kids getting back into phonographs and LPs and records again because of the warmth of analog.
Yeah, it's definitely a resurgent for the vinyl, which is great. I think that's wonderful. I'm not ready to do it. I mean, I've gone from, well, let's see, started with cassettes, 8 tracks, records, then we got CDs, and now it's streaming.
Yeah.
I use a streaming service called Tidal because of the resolution it has, and I've been happy with it. But everybody keeps asking me if I'm going to go start vinyl again. I don't want to go down that.
Well, I think with the kids is a lot of them never heard it before.
Exactly.
And I think when they listen to it, they like it. And I think there's so many young people are becoming minimalist, and they want less and make it more retro, which I don't have a problem with that.
No, I think it's great.
I think there's a lot of stuff from the past that is really good, but I'm not going to give up HD and my flat screen and the audio in my room. If we get a chance to go up and watch a movie in that atmosphere, it's just a pleasure to go there and to watch something.
Yeah, you get to enjoy it for what it is.
And then you see people like Taylor Sheridan who have come along and brought whole new genres to the screen in your home, and through different formats that weren't even very busy before. So it's amazing what somebody with an imagination and some good writing can do with technology today that it took a big studio to do before, but I think that benefits all of us at home theaters.
Yeah, I agree. It's been interesting watching all the changes over the last 10 years. The streaming really, I kept wondering when it was going to take off. Everybody said, when's streaming going to really hit? I don't know. If I had a crystal ball, I'd probably be doing something else, like sitting on a beach somewhere. But when it hit hard and fast. And when you start seeing companies like DirecTV wanting you to do streaming versus having their set-top boxes, that kind of tells you all you need to know.
Well, and when you see people like cable expanding to other areas because they know what's coming. I mean, more and more. Are you getting a lot of requests for cutting cable and going straight streaming?
Oh, yeah. We've been doing a lot of that over the last 3 years. There's two real good streaming boxes out there, the Apple TV and the Roku. And the Roku streaming box is a little bit more versatile than the Apple TV because it's not in a closed ecosystem, so to speak. But they both do a really good job, and you can pretty much get anything out there on either one of them.
Do you consult with people? Because that's not a big job. I mean, is that something that you do with just individuals that want to cut the cable and want to go to Roku?
Sure. And then, it's funny. I get a lot of, our business has become generational. So a lot of the kids are calling and saying, Mom and Dad need to have streaming set up for them. Can you go over there and take care of it? Well, Mom and Dad were my customers before they were around. So, yeah, of course I can. And it's kind of fun watching the older generation warm up to the streaming and figure it out.
I can remember when cable first came around, and you were saying you get CNN, which I thought was pretty phenomenal back then. And you had all these channels, and they came in so clear. There was no rabbit ears to deal with anymore, but it was only $5 a month. Now I'm paying close to $300 for all my HD and all the special programs I have, like the Red Zone for NFL, and so then you start talking about, okay, if we switch to Roku or something else, what am I not going to be able to get that I like now? Is that a big fear everybody has? It's like getting a new cell phone. You get these advantages, but you ain't going to have that anymore.
Well, the first question I always have is, what are your favorite channels? What do you guys watch all the time? When we take those down, and that helps narrow down the main streaming service. And then we figure out the secondary streaming services, which, like, if you're subscribing to Xfinity or to DirecTV, you'll pick up the Paramount Pluses, the MGM Pluses for free on streaming because you have the content in your quote-unquote cable or satellite bill, even though it's streaming. So it's pretty easy to figure out once you get the priorities. I kept all the channels that I was watching when I did it years ago and ended up cutting my bill in half.
And it's amazing. I mean, we think of changing something, but everybody's always afraid they're going to lose something. And my wife said, well, I'm not going to be able to get a Hallmark channel. I said, I don't know.
But it's just a matter of finding it. And all those companies offer a la carte. So if you run into one you can't get on another service,
you can find it.
You can buy it and pay a subscription for it. And they're not terrible.
No. And I think that's what really it's all going to go to. Everybody's going to be subscription, whether it's through the internet or I see it happening with CBS, NBC, and all the big networks from the past because they're not watching them anymore. They're not watching the news. They're not watching their programming at night. It's all these other young startups that everybody is watching, and now the networks are trying to figure out how to backdoor it and come back around to get people to sign on to our new digital channel.
Right. And the new digital channel has almost all the old content on it.
Yeah. So
the other cool thing about the streaming is that you can go in and pull down content. You may have missed a program. You're able to go in and pull it down and watch it at your leisure. You don't have to necessarily live by a schedule.
Which I think what they do with this show. We have so many people that are watching right now live, but the majority of them will look at it on YouTube and Facebook after we've done the show today.
Yeah.
And watch it when they want. If they get interrupted, they just stop it, and it picks up right where you left off when you come back to it. It's a by appointment as opposed to, just random, and if I miss it, I miss it.
Yeah, I remember having to wait to watch a TV show.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, I was going to miss it, and I didn't know when I'd get to see it again. And now you don't have to do that anymore.
No, in fact, remember Al Capone's vault when Geraldo?
Geraldo.
I don't know how many people were there for that because, they just didn't have the ability to either DVR it or, VHS tape it. Remember all that. And I give you an example of how things have changed. When Lonesome Dove, the TV series, came out in the 80s, mid 80s, and a little after. And the very first videos that were available were just VHS tapes after the whole series was over. And we got those. And then the DVDs came out. We got those. That was a lot better. At first, it looked like they had shot it through an aquarium, and it was just so blurry, and you couldn't make out mesquite bushes. And then they came out with the Blu-ray. And Blu-ray, I said, whoa, that's what this movie looked like and it was supposed to look like when it first came out.
Yeah.
And that's how much things have really improved. And they're going back and taking original movies now and reprinting them and putting them on the latest venue of whatever it is, 4K or whatever it is. Because if they shot it in 35 millimeter, it can look as good at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every time they up the resolution, it just gets stronger.
Well, it is a fascinating business you're in, and because it's constantly changing, which I guess that means you go to the conventions in Vegas showing the latest in hardware and software.
I used to do that the last couple of years. I bet the younger guys in the company do it.
Too much walking.
Exactly.
First question I ask when I do anything, I say, how far do I have to walk?
And where's the nearest bathroom?
Yes. Yes. And I got to go home before 8. Well, it is a fascinating business, and I'm glad you're here in Memphis. And if people want to get in touch with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Our phone number is 901-624-0940, and our website is www.pccmem.com.
And you could also just Google them, and it would be Phoenix Home.
It's actually set up as Phoenix Communications or Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment.
Okay, and if you can't find that, call me, and I'll put you in touch with them.
Exactly.
We'll get you there. Scott, thank you very much for coming downtown and joining us today. It's fun having you on. I think people learned a lot.
Well, thank you for having me.
You bet. Thank you for being a sponsor.
Intend to keep doing it.
I appreciate it. And speaking of sponsors, you're going to hear from Scott and our other sponsors right now. So we'll be right back after that. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show. Coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi, everyone. It's Diane Kimbrough, Lady Di, your insurance PI. And I'm here to tell you about the new podcast that Earle Farrell for Memphis is doing. And we're doing it downtown live from the Peabody, which is behind me and next to the Rendezvous. And we're going to be talking all things Memphis, but we're also going to be talking about health insurance because that applies to everyone. And I can help you in every area. So I look forward for you listening to us and learning more about what we can do for you in Memphis and how I can help you with your health.
Hello, Memphis, Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earle Farrell Memphis today. And we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Carey Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25. And I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching Earle and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earle Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earle Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, my name is Jameson Todd, and I'm the director of Live at the Garden and the Radiance Amphitheater. And we're so excited for our 25th year of Live at the Garden here at the Memphis Botanic Garden. We've got a great lineup for you this season, so come on out.
Hi, I'm Olivia Wall, Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden and Live at the Garden. We've had Earle Farrell right along the way for the past 25 years, and we can't wait to talk more about the season this summer on the Earle Farrell for Memphis show.
So come out to Live at the Garden. Our first show is on June 21st.
Hi, my name is Scott Fueling. I'm president of Phoenix Communications here in Memphis. I'm really proud to support Earle Farrell's show, as is everybody else on the team. We love Memphis, and we love doing things to promote Memphis, and we can't wait for this to get started.
Are we back? We're back.
We're here.
It's live.
I feel almost alive, in fact. Yes.
You look alive.
Well, I just love the complimentary clothing here.
Yes.
Thank you, Al. This is going to go great in my closet.
Pick out a jacket.
Pick out a jacket,
Yeah.
any jacket.
Ken Hall, everybody. I was talking to Kathy today. She said, and my sister in Texas said, Ken Hall's coming back on the show.
Oh, my
I said,
gosh.
yes.
Wow.
I said,
Am I wanted in that state as well?
You are wanted there.
I'm
yes.
not sure I'm wanted anywhere, but thank you. It's a nice sentiment.
But it's not a warrant.
Oh,
out
I
for
see.
you.
That's good.
They just like you.
What a nice change of pace that is.
Yeah. How do you like the new digs?
Oh, this is fantastic. So much life and color and history and present.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the tourists come in and seeing the historic photos. It's everything.
And we stay open while the show's going, so you'll see people walking through trying.
I feel like
clothes.
a fashion commentator.
Well, you can be
on the runway today,
and
sauntering up.
Say, look at Earle wearing something obviously way too expensive for him.
I'm so glad I wore a striped shirt today.
Well, our jackets are very similar. You've got a plaid.
I
and
do.
Mine's kind of a miniature houndstooth.
Yeah, really very handsome.
Very summery, though.
I know. You get to pretty much change each and every day to a different jacket.
Every show, different jacket, yeah.
And you can do that in here because the selection is vast and fabulous.
And you know what the thing is? Every single one of them. And we think it's too much. Brett Batterson was here yesterday. He wore the killer jacket over here.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And he looked great in it.
Yeah.
In fact, he's the one that said, no, I don't want to wear that. And so we didn't have to talk him into it. I've seen you wear a seersucker before. You look really
I do.
good.
It's almost time to go in the closet and see if I can still fit.
There's a jacket I wore the other day that's a seersucker jacket here that I love. This one right there. Have you ever seen a seersucker in that color? Usually they're a very light blue.
And I thought it was fancy when you're getting instead of the white and blue stripe, the white and gray. But this is like a whole new level.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
I mean, Hal picks all the stuff out. And
it's a talent.
In these jackets, it's like Beth was feeling this today. We were picking it out. She goes, "That is so light."
And
it
you
really
want
is.
that for Memphis summer, God knows.
Yes. With the built-in air conditioner, or a sweat towel.
That's
whatever.
right. That's right. Well, Memorial Day has passed, so we may wear the seersucker
and the white shoes. I guess.
And the white shoes. I've got the white bucks at home. They do need a little spit shine.
You still have white
Oh
bucks?
gosh, yes.
I can't live without.
You know what kicks off this Friday?
What?
Carnival.
Oh, that's right.
There will be some seersucker and white bucks out there.
In the promo, I put a picture of you in your carnival attire.
I hope no one's disappointed that I didn't wear my tux down here today.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
And you'll have to wear it enough during Carnival. How did you get involved in Carnival?
Oh, gosh, probably the mid-'90s. I was not born into the realm, but I've been with it for a while and was in a crew and then went with 4 other guys. We said, we think we might improve upon a couple of things, and we started our own crew. And this year we celebrate our 25th year, so the Grand Crew of Ptolemy. So we're proud of that.
So you can start your own crew.
You can do that if you want to.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's no manual on how to, so it was really a trial and error, and still is.
But you pulled it off.
We pulled it off, and we got now there's a lot of nice young people in it, and I kind of sit back and say, "You're doing a great job."
Well, I was Janie Lowry.
Yes.
Our good friend asked me to help her with the fashion show.
I saw that.
And we had a blast doing that.
You know, with Janie, and if there's anybody else in the room, it's a bonus.
Well, yeah.
And it looked like a great event. Memphis Fashion.
She'd stay in town long enough for her to come on the show.
It's tough.
She would be, but
you got to get those vacations in.
And they just bought a new home.
Did they?
Yes, over near the Memphis Country Club, as a matter of fact.
Good for them.
Beautiful home.
Wow. I thought the last one was quite nice, but what do I know?
It was no dump. But this one is even better.
I hope I get to visit at some point.
I think that's Janie Lowry's policy is never live in a dump.
No, not yet.
Well, they've
a lovely person.
Yeah, so's her husband, who's a very hardworking man.
Yes.
He has to be.
When he worked, when she worked at Church Health, my title was respite care for Michael. I'm giving you a break, buddy.
Yeah,
giving you a few hours off per day.
She's not out spending right now.
Oh my goodness!
So how are things at Church Health?
Good, rocking along. Plenty of sick people. It's a growth industry. Never a dull moment, but it's going well. It's going well. We've had a tremendously busy spring. On the event fundraising side, my end of the attic, I literally have done about 1 or 2 events a week for 2 months, so I'm tired.
But you have scaled back tremendously from your old schedule.
Oh, my gosh. I look back.
I used to worry about you.
I used to worry about me. But the bar business is almost all gone.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of folks I still...
kind of passed it on to?
Yeah. We do Old Dominic. I'll do a couple of private parties, but I'm not doing 1 or 2 a weekend, 11 months a year
in
anymore.
addition to your regular job.
Yes,
and you were
much.
Also doing art events.
Still do a few of those. Yeah, and I've got, in fact, a visual aid.
Yes,
which is so much better here than on radio.
Point to that.
I'm going to point to this camera, and you'll see in the lovely
mine.
For Memphis magazine.
Yeah,
which we can get in all the better stores.
I'll tell you what, go
over here.
Yeah.
How are we doing? I hope you enjoyed the side and the front. It's just like 201 Poplar. We're doing both.
Hold it right
now,
there.
This beautiful watercolor right here
is
Fred Rawlinson. Now, Fred taught at Memphis College of Art, which we miss. He's 83, and he's still painting, and he's still teaching.
Wow.
And he's got a beautiful show up for another 10 days at Church Health. If you're a fan of really great watercolor, or Fred, or both, I encourage you to come by Monday through Friday, about 7:30 to 5:30. Walk in and see that. It's the ground floor. And I'm changing every 2 months a new show, which is fun. There's not the pressure of me going to rent a venue and putting up a whole lot of money that I may or may not get back.
Which you have done in the past.
I've done. But we do this for the patients. They're sitting in the waiting room. Mm-hmm. They're waiting on maybe good news, maybe bad news, and we have something pleasant and beautiful. Yeah. That's why we do them. And if we sell something, it's a bonus. And we did sell quite well with Fred because he's an amazing, amazing talent and sweet man.
And how old was he when he started painting?
I think he went on faculty at College of Art in '69 and had been painting before that. Now, he is, for fun, doing classes every few weeks now at Memphis Botanic Garden. And people will sign up for a 6-week course either on Sunday or Tuesdays. And he has so many fans who are our age, Earl, that have said, I want to have a nice hobby in my retirement. And there's some young people, too. But it's nice that we can still learn to do things and create things and have beauty and purpose.
Well, I've tried all that, and
I know. Bless your heart. But the jacket looks good on you.
Natural talent.
Oh boy!
I know that when we first started doing things on my radio show, 14 years ago.
Oh my gosh! We were very young.
But there were not that many art exhibits going on. There were the museums.
Yeah.
But you were very instrumental in getting pop-up art shows.
A lot of pop-ups.
Warehouses and all kinds of different venues. And I think that you really helped make the art scene here in Memphis a much stronger, good base. And I think it made the museums better because they saw what other people were doing, and I think they took note, and they started doing shows themselves that they didn't used to do.
Well, the Dixon's a good example because every time they have the big blockbuster touring show, they now have, right now, a local artist. And this is such a beautiful coincidence. Both Fred Rawlinson and Dolph Smith, who's
Wow.
about the same age.
Yeah.
Dolph has a show right now at the Dixon. He and Colleen Smith. It's a duo show. She was his student.
Oh, wow.
You know,
What
I
a
guess in
thrill
the
that's gotta
90s.
be for
And
both of 'em.
it's a reunion. It's a beautiful, sweet show. But thank you. We've tried, I think part of the growth in the alternative spaces is the good publicity that we've had, especially through your show, and being able to let people know that it's out there.
Well, and even when I was in TV, I covered the museums. I used to love to go to there and take people there because the rest of the news people just don't have a taste for it. And I always thought it was very important that people need to go to museums, to go learn about art, especially children.
Yeah.
You start them young, and it becomes part of their life.
There's a lady coming up. We're going to replace Fred's show with an opening on June 15th. Her name is Carol Sams, and she has been at it since the 70s also. Part of her retirement hobby is not only working with young people, she goes to the Dixon once a month and works with people that have Parkinson's. It's art therapy. And we're learning to use the hands and draw and do watercolors and things at every age. I love it when the kids are trying. I love it when the people that have some challenges are learning something that they can feel good about.
Absolutely.
It is just such a positive. You know, I turn on the morning news to look at the body counts, like Vietnam.
I can't do it anymore.
You can't do it anymore.
No.
And when we can talk about something positive in Memphis, which is what you do on this show, whether it's art or a festival or whatever it happens to be, that's good for all of us.
And they got the Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Did you drive by there when you were coming down here today?
Watching that come up. I went last Thursday to the Brooks Overton Park. They have a new rotunda installation. They've done that a couple times a year for the past few years. And they said, this is the last one before the move. So enjoy this beautiful display.
How many stories? Because I'm looking at the crane. This could be a multi-story building.
It goes down.
Down.
Down and up. You've got multi-levels and a rooftop kind of garden entertainment event space. It looks a little boxy. The reason is that you want a beautiful view of the river, but you also don't want direct sunlight on art because it damages it. So
somebody
it's very
pointed
strategic.
that out to somebody the other day. Said,
Yeah.
there's no windows. Said, sunlight is not good for valuable art.
Especially something like a photograph.
Yeah.
It'll be gone in months.
Yeah.
There are windows in the right places, but they've built this with great amenities all throughout.
Which
so
the
we're
original
anxious to
Brooks
see.
was not built that way. Was it actually a residence at one
Well,
time?
no, the 1916, the first part of the Brooks, which is on the west side, you can still go on the 1916
Where everybody
entrance.
sleds down the hill.
That's down the hill. They have some openings. And then the additions, I'm going to say there are probably like 4 different additions up through the 80s. The biggest part was built in the 70s and had this big, boxy, Soviet-looking, had some roof leak problems. And is still a great space, and I hope something comes
Do
to
we
it,
know if
you know.
anything is in the? I know that the Ornamental Metal Museum.
They're going to College
go
Park.
to the
Next door.
art college.
Yeah.
And when does that happen?
They are hammer and tong down there doing some big construction. I was down, as I say, the other night and peered out the back of the Brooks and could see girders and beams and
Stuff going
that's
on
gonna be. And they're still keeping on the river. I'm going tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, and speaking of art things, Wet on the River Thursdays. They do free admission at the Bluff. I'm going to try the new roundabout and hope for the best.
I'm circumventing it daily almost now, and once you,
I'll report back.
I did go to Arkansas, as Rob will
Arkansas
attest
once.
to. I did go to Arkansas, my first attempt.
Yeah.
But you get off at the first exit, and turn around, and come back.
So we're going to try it. I'm going to try to get to the Metal Museum, but from 5 to 8 tomorrow night, they've got live music and food trucks, and they do this once a month. Now, what's good is that's the best view of the city on the river, period.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep that. They're going to
Good.
keep that and the Overton Park. So that's great.
So will the blacksmith shop remain
Probably stay
there?
down there
Because
it's built
that's
out.
extensive, yeah.
It's amazing.
I've seen them working on all kinds of stuff there, and I absolutely love the front gates and what they've done to that. That's a huge piece of art in itself.
Well, we were talking a minute ago about going to an architect's home, and you know that's going to be the top of the line. Francis Ma, my gosh, what a legend in the city. When you go to a metalsmith's place of business, you can expect the best doorknobs in the world and the
That work.
gates and all. And I'm happy to say I've got some work with them now on the Beale Street brass notes.
Oh, great.
So they'll help. We were formerly welding on the back so people wouldn't prime out the concrete, you know. And
because people will do that.
People will take valuable things. Who knew? But the welding process, I begun to tarnish and discolor the brass. And the Metal Museum figured out a way to do a drill press thing that preserves the beauty of the note and is secure. So I'll be delivering 2 notes to them tomorrow to fix for us.
Can we reveal who the new
these have been
recipients?
awarded.
Okay,
This was
they've already been.
Otis Clay, and they did that one a week ago Sunday. I think at Chris Corvallis' warehouse, I believe.
In fact, I talked to somebody who was at that.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
And another one, Jerry Williams, which was about a month before. Memphis, great. And that's fun. We're over 210 now.
Is that what it's up
We do
to
about
now?
10 a year.
Wow.
And it's enjoyable.
It is a great thing, and they got started. I remember doing, the one. Actually, they named the street after him.
Not Rufus Thomas?
Yeah, it was Rufus Thomas. Yeah, because they said, "Whose Lincoln Continental is this?" And Rufus held up his hand, and they said,
"Oh my gosh,
you can leave it there, Rufus.
It's okay if you
we're
do
dedicated."
it. Yeah,
but he also got a musical note as well.
Yeah, and Marvell, his son, got one. We've done a few. Great talent from the city.
You know, when I meet new people or tell people about how long I've been here, the fact that I've gotten to meet so many of those people over the years. I mean, that was what I was most astounded about when I moved here, that they were all living here, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Lee was here. You had Carl Perkins. You had Johnny Cash was alive. Elvis had just passed. Jerry Lee. I mean, it's like you're walking around going, they're all still here. Yeah.
And the notes on the street are a lot of names that you know, and a lot of names that are not quite as familiar. People that did the engineering and the festivals and studio production and the record labels, all of which are important to make the whole of Memphis music. Yeah. So that's fun.
And it's still happening. You've got a list of things that are out this month in For Memphis Magazine.
We'll do that. We're bi-monthly now, as our readers know. So usually there's 2 months full of wonderful things. We've gone through May. I would mention coming up, Germantown Symphony Orchestra is in the GPAC Grove, which is a great little space. I'm sure you've been there.
Oh, yeah. I've been many times.
Wow. And what a great place to have a production like that. That's the 29th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
May's gone. What happened to May? Who stole May? I don't get this.
It went by in a blur.
Theater Memphis is opening Ain't Misbehavin', the Fats Waller show on the 6th of June. This is going to be so good. At the Orpheum, our good friend Brett, the Screw Tape Letters, C.S. Lewis's classic little novella. It's funny, it's poignant, it's theological, and there's going to be a live kind of dramatic reading. I think it's a 1 or 2 character show. That's on the 7th. I've been looking forward to that for months.
And you go to all this stuff.
I'm
always here when you talk about it, and I go, I have to leave the house. And you go, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. There's so much, and we're blessed.
Yeah.
Last week, Opera Memphis hosted the National Opera Festival.
We had people that are staying here at the Peabody that were at the National Opera. They came in from one guy
Every
from
city.
Tampa, all over the country.
And Memphis is the smallest city ever to host it, and they did a phenomenal job.
Good.
Made us all proud.
Well, Memphis, that's one reason we're here.
Yeah.
Is we wanted people to start coming back downtown,
That's
coming
right.
to Lansky's. I mean, there's a shop full of folks right here today, in here shopping, and the hotel's full. But it's coming down here to eat again, coming down here to go to all the great events that are going on, and say, I'm not giving up on my city. And
No, it's
most
too much
people
good
aren't.
stuff.
That's it.
I have a reservation tomorrow night for McGillen's, which is great. Just around the corner, easy walk.
You know who else goes there on a regular basis?
Who's that?
Elon Musk.
Really?
When he's in town, that's one of his favorite restaurants.
I had no idea.
Brings his entire crew of guys. It said, you think it's a bunch of people that are in Circus Olay that are in town. It's his technicians.
Interesting.
And they get that side room, the new side room.
Probably a little peace and quiet.
Well, they want a side entrance so they don't make a muss.
That's probably a good idea.
Have their own restrooms,
Right.
and so they come in and stay to themselves. And but he loves coming to Memphis. He's here about every other week. Most people don't know that.
I had no idea.
And yep, and so I'm doing my best to try to get him on the show. He just he's been busy.
He has been busy. There's been a lot of busyness.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy.
But
so you're going to be coming back the rest of the summer.
Sure, just
and
give a
updating.
call. We've got much to talk about in future, so whenever you have time.
And also you're going to take us to some art exhibits. We're going to go remote, and you'll be there with your camera and your classy microphone. And
Skype has gone away.
Yeah. It's now called Teams, but we're going to go Zoom.
I think Zoom's easier to use.
I
have to use Teams for work, and it's a little frustrating.
My guy Rob's right here beside me saying, Zoom is the word.
All right, we'll be there.
We'll be Zooming.
Zoom.
And at any rate, it's great having you back on. Thanks for coming in and sharing what's going on. And just seeing your happy face again was cheerful.
Most kind, sir. We'll see you soon.
You're a good friend of the show.
Live or Zoom.
So that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. And watch for this same show will be put up on YouTube and, of course, on Facebook. And we'll see you next time.